Hi everyone, I'm Jess Tortellini. I've been wanting to talk about the craziness that is the coddle culture and liberal bias of colleges today. You would think that college should be the opposite of a safe space. It should prepare young adults for the real world and workforce. It should teach people the reality that every man is on an even playing ground, legally. And no matter what race or gender you are, you can work hard and succeed in life. In non-communist countries, that is. Okay, sorry, I know this sounds like a motivational speech so far, but bear with me. The point is, you can work to be whatever kind of person you want to be, but instead, colleges are teaching adults to behave like bratty, violent 5-year-olds.
Why are you here? You're not here to protect these students from Nazis? No, you're not! This is completely fucked up! And these students had to fucking face them on your own! You should be ashamed of yourselves! You should be standing up to those Nazis! You should be protecting these students from hate! This is hate! These are fucking assholes! And this is a joke! You're protecting the Nazis! It's a fucking joke! You are a joke! You're grown boys!
Which is why I'm going to list 3 different reasons why social justice prevails and is horrible later in this video. If anyone dares to bring up a different perspective other than the social groupthink rhetoric that they have been spoon-fed, that person is just evil and racist to them. They are taught this so that they are immune from criticism. Nothing can be challenged about their ideas.
Not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that? Then
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
the
a
fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that?
It makes them feel good when there's something to be fighting for. But there's no possible way that their professors could be lying to them.
California Republicans I just showed you are 30% of registration in the states because they're really stupid and racist. But Republicans are 82% white. You want to know why this is what Jason wanted me to talk about. You want to know why they're taking in the shorts in California? Republicans are 82% white.
Because it's a college, and these people are professionals, obviously.
Do you think systematic oppression is?
It's systematic oppression is because you don't believe that you have the equal opportunity for success.
You don't Did you just blame us for systematic oppression, Tim Wolf?
The man just tried to present a fact to them. He simply said a few words, and instead of engaging in a dialogue about the subject and perhaps explaining her opinion like an adult, her and her mob immediately screech at the top of their lungs and treat this man as if he just murdered a freaking baby or something. This behavior is encouraged when it should be strongly condemned. No expression of new ideas or a yearning for a new type of knowledge is allowed here. And the worst part is, they mask social justice as being the one true religion, or political social viewpoint. Social meaning group justice. They put everyone in groups based off of arbitrary traits that people are born with and can't control, such as skin color or sex, and then claim to have the moral high ground for this.
Republican Party California, as I say all the time, on the record, in print, and on radio and on TV, is the last vestige of any real white people, and that's what this is. The Republicans are trying to prevent people of color and people of lower income from voting by requiring voter ID. Whether or not the school bonds that were on the ballot got passed so that schools could be built, so that Latino and African American kids could go to school in their own neighborhoods, those bonds had to be approved by a bunch of old white people.
They judge people solely by those trivial traits, instead of, say, the content of their character. I know it's a radical idea. And some questions I have about this is just, why? Why is social justice so popular? And what makes it thrive? The first reason that I think people have for clinging to social justice is the literal high that they get from being morally superior to all the racists and sexists that are just everywhere. I saw someone tweet months back, just a smug tweet. I don't exactly remember what it said, but it definitely said, "At least I'm not a racist." And I just found it funny how many other social justice people on the internet use that same phrase. You can just feel the satisfaction they get from tweeting that when in reality, they're doing nothing but making themselves smugly feel like they're the best human being alive. So many people join this cult without even intending to. The high that they get from calling someone a racist or sexist, even if there's no evidence that they are, the accusation alone from someone just asking a simple question or challenging Black Lives Matter or something is enough to get that unearned moral superiority high that is similar to the effects of heroin. Calling people racist can literally be addictive, because at least you aren't a racist. So beware of this tactic that people use to get high. Of course, there are real racists out there, but a good way to counter this argument is that if that people call you a racist without any evidence, you are not the bad person, they are. They are trivializing a word with a real and serious meaning. And if their accusation can't be backed up by facts or evidence, then what reason do you have to believe them? What makes what they're saying credible just because they used scary words? We should be teaching kids to be skeptical of everything that they hear. Don't automatically believe anyone, even if they are a prestigious professor. Do your own research and think freely about absolutely everything. The notion that your feelings matter so much that if you hear something you don't like or that makes you uncomfortable, you should leave and not listen to any new information. This is also being encouraged in high schools, and I think it's just really sad. And it does nothing but stifle people from learning and growing.
So wouldn't you concede that it's possibly better to redistribute wealth then so that others are able to rise up, join the middle class, procure a better education so that they're a better workforce to complete on a global scale?
Redistribution of wealth does not achieve competition, because it turns out that what actually achieves competition is the sort of values that you impose in your work life. This is why if you have a bunch of people who win the lottery, disproportionately people who are poor and win the lottery end up poor again. The reason people are permanently poor in the United States is not because they don't have money, it's because they suck with money. The reason people are temporarily poor is because they don't have money. The reason they're permanently poor, okay, this is self-evident, folks, that's not even controversial. If you're poor in America your entire life, you are not great with money by definition. Okay, if you are, name me one person in America who's phenomenal with money, but is poor for 80 years in the United States. Anybody? Names? Anyone? Okay, military veterans. Okay, military. Okay.
Test. I'm sorry, Mr.
Yeah,
Shapiro.
happy to take another question.
I'm at a point right now, quite frankly, where I'm going to dismiss the students. I know there are other questions that would like to be asked.
Why?
With all due respect, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Shapiro represents a narrative that he's providing to all of you guys based off of his opinions, what he believes, and what he wants to share with all of you. I know that the education was there for all of you to understand left side, right side, whatnot, but also the opportunity was allowed for him to impress upon you some of his opinions about certain things. And I think the lesson was there for me to understand and also for all of you to understand. I think what this is getting into now is it's starting to cross the line. And
What would that line be?
Why are they crossing the line? I don't see nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
let me ask this
You're
question.
the one who's crossing the line.
Let me ask this question. If, for those students who would like to be dismissed, I'm allowing you to go ahead and do so at this time. For those of you who would like to continue to listen, you can remain and listen to Mr. Shapiro and also the information that we have.
Guys in a classroom with a monologue on politics without the kids walking out. That'd be awesome. Since I'm not being by the state of California, I can't do that.
Yeah, Ben just crossed the line of that guy's feelings. Pursue things that make you uncomfortable, college kids, instead of running away from them. That's how you grow and evolve as a person. It's okay to disagree with someone and still be friends with them, and not think they're an evil bigot just because you disagree on something politically. People used to do this all the time. It's just basic human decency. A second reason that social justice prevails is money and votes. For example, Hillary Clinton and most politicians really will flip-flop their opinions to whatever is the most popular opinion at the moment. One minute she's completely against gay marriage, and a few years later, her whole campaign is based in fighting for women and LGBT minority rights that have already been won. Politicians, mostly Democrats, need Black people to think that they're oppressed so that they have a reason to vote for them. This is one that I really hate, when politicians exploit Black people and women and say shit that they already know is a lie, like the wage gap, in order to sound and feel virtuous and obtain more votes.
Today, women make up about half our workforce, but they still make 77 cents for every dollar a man earns. That is wrong. And in 2014, it's an embarrassment. Women deserve equal pay for equal work.
Facts and true equality matter more than a good feeling you get, and it's sad how many people fall for this. It doesn't matter to politicians that they are dividing an entire nation of people that were once healing and had achieved MLK Jr.'s dream, which was already won on a legal basis, is already won on a legal basis, and on a social basis, Black and white people are friends all the time, and that's how it should be. There's never going to not be a single racist that exists out there, both against white or Black people. I just think it's insane that people wonder why racial tensions are getting worse and worse. Of course, when you constantly bash into a group of people's heads that they are systematically oppressed and most white people hate them and racism is so prevalent, especially when you teach this to vulnerable young people, of course they're going to be envious and hate the world and the country and white people. It's also amazing that social justice warriors try to blame conservatives for this instead of reflecting on themselves. They've been fed this lie that all white people are racist and that the system hates them and that they can't succeed in life because the system hates them. So why would they even try to succeed when they think this? Equality of opportunity is there and matters more than equality of outcome. They can't possibly engage with a conservative because they might find out they're not all evil. Why wouldn't they be bitter when they think racism is everywhere and see it in everything? It's such a sad way to live your life. Being told these lies that for some reason Democrats think will help make things more equal is just making Black people and women more spiteful, give up, and depend on government for their living.
Can we ask you to stop, please?
Sir! Sir!
We good!
Which makes them very angry because they are oppressed. It can't be for any other reason. It's all a self-fulfilling prophecy that is a lie and cancerous one. It makes me really sad to see how my generation has become, how entitled and bratty they're acting, but I understand why it's happening. There's no excuse for their disgusting behavior, by the way, but the cancer that is social justice makes them feel justified to use violence because of words, because the other people are evil and they're fighting for something good in their mind. It makes me sick and there's no excuse for it, and I wish more people were smart enough to see through this kind of divisive bullshit. But when you believe the lies and garbage and the cult that is social justice, this is what happens. I think you have to be pretty gullible to look at the world around you in Western cultures and believe this shit when you see how many successful minorities and women there are, but still. That's why they say feminism and social justice are cancer. It spreads like cancer to how you act and how you view the world, and it affects how you're going to live your life when you have this cancerous ideology clouding any independent or logical thought you may have. But at least Democrats aren't racist. Another reason social justice prevails is it's just easier to be a victim. Blaming the world for your lack of success and hard work and claiming oppression is much easier than studying and working hard. I know that college is expensive, but there is FAFSA and so much financial aid out there, and the poorer and less white you are, the easier you are to qualify for those. Affirmative action, Also not equal while posing to be an act of equality. Social justice. People have started from nothing and became an astrophysicist or a brain surgeon. It can happen. You can get yourself out of poverty if you make smart decisions with your money and life. So when people go to call you a racist, ask them to provide evidence and explain exactly how and why you are a racist. I think that black people are just as capable of succeeding as white people are and should be able to compete with each other, regardless of their skin color. There are majority black enterprises too, like rap and basketball and a lot of sports. No one is crying racism over that. Sure, we'll point it out, but just because of the constant crying of unequal representation, even though blacks are the minority at the moment. I don't use black people as puppets to virtue signal and treat them like coddled children, like they're not capable of succeeding themselves. I fully think they can and should be treated as such. I treat black people the same way that I would treat a white person. That's just basic non-racism 101. But if you don't view them as all victims now and don't treat them differently than you would white people, and aren't like super sensitive around them, you are the racist one according to SJWs. I'm sorry, but that's not equality, it is actual racism. I know I wouldn't want to be treated like that if I were a black person, and there are many black people who have spoken out against this rhetoric too, so stop saying it's just a white people thing. They don't have to all think the same way because of their skin color. It's just so absurd to label someone as a racist for not agreeing with Black Lives Matter or social justice. Black people don't all believe that shit, despite what SJWs may think. People are individuals and have the freedom to think as such and should be treated as such. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and if you've made it this far, I love you. These are my opinions, and you can let me know your opinions on it in the comments. Bye!